Welcome to the first episode of Artists and the City, where you can meet the newest artists that you should know right now. For the first episode, we have Samir, aka The Organic Decline. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Yes, it's very exciting to be doing a podcast, and thank you for having me as your first guest.
Who else would be the first guest for my podcast, you know?
I feel like we're off to a great start, so I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, me too. Well, first of all, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, my name is Samir. I go by Organic Decline on the scene. I'm an artist, designer. Right now, I'm on this quest, this mission to end our need for fast fashion. That's my latest kind of goals, and that's who I am as of right now.
Oh, let's unpack that sentence. That was a huge sentence
Oh
because
yes,
what is fast fashion?
fast fashion is where we stand now when it comes to the mainstream consumption of clothes. So I don't want to just limit it to a couple of brands. It's really the idea of our manufacturing processes that we have. So we have some major culprits, such as we think about the clothing side, like the H&Ms, the Zara's, the Sheins. There's a whole that part of things. But really, what I'm trying to bring to light with the brand is the people that are making all of these clothes, the conditions that they work in, how much they are being paid for. Here in the West, we don't have so much exposure to what's happening overseas, either in China or Taiwan or Bangladesh. But that's a part of my mission was coming about working in fashion, seeing kind of how the system works of it and the manufacturing process. So it's not to say stop buying clothes or stop buying these kinds of things, but just to be a little more careful about where things are coming from and the conditions that the workers that make them
Yeah.
are living in.
So you are an artist, a visual artist, and also painting on clothes. So that makes you like a designer who's like repurposing the used clothes,
Yes.
and that's how you want to combat fast fashion.
Yes, because what I realized, and this was during kind of 2021, 2022, is that, I mean, I don't know about everybody else listening, but I have a lot of clothes. I've always just accumulated more, and that's just I grew
You're
up
a
shopping.
hoarder.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
are a big
yeah.
time hoarder. I
Lindsay knows.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I grew up with a family that really loves looking fabulous and their the image. So it was very important growing up of like securing the best deal for like the best kind of style. So that kind of helped. So that's kind of how I fell into thrifting, is because I could find like kind of designer items that normally I would never be able to afford.
Yeah.
Maybe like Polo Ralph Lauren or like a Perry Ellis or one of the Calvin Kleins. And it was kind of like about the hunt. So I figured that we all have enough clothes, but we always want to keep buying more clothes. It's like this, like, some will say
It's a cycle.
It's a disease. It's a
Consumption disease.
yeah, and part of that is a result of living in the first world, a very very privileged kind of atmosphere that we live in. Because in other parts of the world, it's not like this. We don't open up their walk-in closet and they have 20 dresses, and the men have 100 different versions of the same polo shirts kind of thing. So what I've discovered in my quest for the root of the problem is that it's kind of our consumption, and it's a very psychologically embedded problem that is just in our system, and some of that's due to capitalism. Some of that is due to advertising and marketing. This idea, especially if this may not apply so much to the male viewers, but outfit repeating and the idea of like, oh, I was photographed in this outfit on Instagram, so I can never wear this outfit again, or nobody can ever see me. This is
Yeah.
a very real phenomenon. How many times has it been where you have a last minute party or function, or you procrastinate and you want a new outfit? You don't have time to go to order something from like the store or whatever. You have to go and get something now.
I think that's because people don't know their styles actually, because
Yeah.
we're so used to following their trends.
Yeah, the
Like
trends.
this is in, so we are changing our like we're getting new stuff to fit the trend. But I feel like you kind of accomplished the style that you want to continue on. Is that true?
Yes, yes, and
Yeah.
that is one of my fixes for the consumption is because what I noticed when studying other designers is that you kind of reach a certain point where where some designers just end up wearing the same kind of uniform every day. You know, a
Yeah.
great example of this is Tom Ford. Tom Ford wears the same peak lapel black suit with the tie bar, and he's worn that for like the last like 10 or 15 years. You know?
Well, does that mean you're gonna be like this for the next 15 years?
I easily could be. I think knowing me, I get very entrenched in an idea, and then
Because you're a
move it
Virgo.
because I'm a Virgo.
You're a
Yes,
Virgo. That's a
yes.
Virgo
Let's
thing.
bring the stars into this. You know, I always feel the need to kind of move on. You know, I used to like when I was growing up, I used to dress very preppy and very like polo shirt and
I cannot imagine
and
you
it doesn't
like
you
that.
can't see it, right? You know,
Not at
but
all.
I've been wearing this outfit effectively, not this every exact garment, but a variation of this outfit for pretty much the whole winter season. And it's taken a different kind of stress out because I think we all have this kind of anxiety when we're getting ready, maybe even to go to work of like
Oh.
outfit fatigue kind of, and then you open up your closet and you're like, wow, I hate all of my clothes. And your clothes have feelings. They're listening to you say that you hate they're like, okay,
They've been listening to
they
me?
be listening.
Oh my god, I've said so many weird shit in this house.
Clothes carry your vibration. They're with you while you're vibrating, so they absorb that, and anyway, we don't have to get into that. But yes, that's how I'm able to kind of think about this in terms of like practical solutions.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still I still buy clothes, but now I buy clothes with the intent of turning them into pieces. I'm not necessarily wearing them for my consumption. So my shopping addiction still gets itched.
You were talking about consumption these days, but you kind of have it too.
Well, I channel into my business.
Oh, but like, do you feel like you are definitely consuming less than before, or is it kind of the same?
Well, in a way, it's different because it's not like I'm thinking about my personal consumption. I'm thinking about my customers now, and what kind of like for example, I went to the thrift yesterday. I bought 2 women's blazers. I spent $5 each, $10 each on a blazer. I would not go to the thrift store and buy 2 women's blazers for myself, right? But I'm buying this for the brand. So that's like I said, like I still get to shop, and I still it's still exciting, but it's not like I have a closet full of 100 clothes that I don't really need.
Yeah. Actually, I would love to talk more about your, I don't know, business tizing. Is that even a word?
Monetizing?
Monetizing your brand.
Yeah.
But for those
we can make business award.
business
Sure.
ties, but you
Let's
got
business this.
yes, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But so for those who's only listening to this podcast, can you describe what you're wearing and what your brand is look like? What kind of feels you're giving?
The feels, right. So kind of how we got here, I was talking about designers having a uniform. So Karl Lagerfeld is another great example of that. So we got to this point, and you get to this point as a designer where you might not want to wear you don't want to follow these trends as you were talking about. Rick Owens is another example. Rick Owens wore the same pair of shorts and a tank top, like maybe 5 or so, for like 5 or 10 years straight, and then he'll change. So I don't anticipate me wearing this the whole time, but with it, with me living in New York for the past 5 years, I do get seasons. So this is winter 24 organic decline.
Yes. So
we're gonna go through summer, and then by the time winter 24, 25 hits, I'm gonna be a whole different artist.
So
Who knows?
you're wearing a beret and a lace.
Yes, this is a trimming from Mood Fabric. It's just a lace piece of fabric.
And then a blazer.
A blazer.
Black blazer.
Black blazer. Gold painting. Oh yes. And then we have some cargo pants here.
And it's most importantly the cape.
Yes, we have the cape.
Oh my god, are we showing this to you? Okay.
We're showing. This is
do the whole turn.
This is
Do the whole turn if you were gonna. Yes, beautiful.
So there's a couple different variations of this now. I've actually been wearing the double cape recently, which is...
What is a double cape?
The double cape is a versatile idea that you're just carrying around 2 capes, and you can either wear them both on the back and have like a double drape, or you can switch one to the front
and it becomes like a dress.
Kind of,
Oh, are you like Indian Harry Styles?
Whoa. Yes. Vogue. Cover.
Vogue, hit him up.
People really lost their minds when hairstyles was on the cover of Vogue. Imagine what would happen if an Indian man had dressed.
Honestly,
Shout out to Terry Singh also, because Terry Singh is an Indian designer in New York, finally getting the attention that he deserves about men's skirts. So yeah, just want to throw that in there. But yes, the capes, because if you think about it, brands have their like couture, kind of experimental like dream garments. Similar to how cars will have concept cars. I believe brands have to have an aspirational kind of pioneering sense, and then they kind of trickle it down to something that an everyday person that walks by the street might want to wear. So not everybody wants to wear a pantsuit, right? Not everybody wants to wear a cape. So there's many different variations of this outfit that is a little bit more digestible, but also for the people that want to go all out, you can go all out.
Okay, I see what you mean. So you're offering like painted capes, painted blazers, also maybe bags, hats, all different kind of things. And then they could choose one of the items to embody organic decline.
Yes. Yeah.
Just through one or two items.
Yeah.
Which I have been actually doing because I own your blazer.
Minji is a collector.
I'm a collector. I'm an OD collector.
Bought and paid for, by the way. There's no special strings attached, okay? So no favoritisms.
But, and then that blazer, I brought it to Seoul Fashion Week last year. That was so fun because people commented on the blazer so much and we were getting a lot of attention. So go you, international designer.
Yes. So Minji, what have you been thinking about this whole, like you've moved just back to New York, right? From Korea. You've grown as an artist, either, in the performance standpoint, stand up, you danced and performed. How is being back in New York, and the international, conquest that you're kind of on, to bring art back to your hometown? How do you feel about that journey so far, do you think? Sorry to turn this back on you, but I've been wondering, actually.
That's a really great question. So, just for the context, I was in New York for the past 4 years, and I moved back to Korea last year, September, and then I just came back in April. So I've been gone for more than half a year.
Since you've been gone. Okay, sorry.
You were totally breathing, by the way.
I was breathing. I have breaths since Minji left. Not exactly fresh air I've been breathing, but
And I tried my best to do everything that I've been doing in New York, in Korea. And I think that took quite a lot of readjustment.
Okay.
But I think overall it was received really well.
Yeah, I feel like your TikTok reception was way different in Korea than New York. They love internet.
No. They did not like me. So apparently I was such a triggering character for them.
Well, that's what it takes these days. You have to be all controversial.
No, I am apparently super obnoxious on Korean internet. So they love me.
Oh, okay.
So not they love me. It's like you. Okay, there are different.
Why do you think that is? Somebody would be annoying, triggering them.
People don't like happy women.
Oh, no.
Wow. Happy women with ambition is a big statement.
Whoa.
I think the fact that I
people want to tear down ambitious women for sure, and they
right?
they don't like to see it.
They don't,
especially other women. Sometimes, jeez.
Oh my God, women! But I see what you mean.
Intimidation factor is what I'm saying. And jealousy.
I think people were a little intimidated by the character that I bring.
Okay.
And I tried not to care because I thought that it was part of the game. And I also realized that I can have different bases because I tried so hard in New York for the past years. And I think the most attention I ever got was in Korea, which was interesting because here, we're in an age where everyone wants to stand out. Everyone wants to get their attention, through TikTok or whatever, social media. And I think Korean internet was less dense than the international internet.
Okay.
That it was easier to penetrate.
Oh, supply and demand.
Yeah, and I was happy about the attention. In the beginning, because the comments were terrible, but I enjoyed it.
now you know a fraction of what Miss Taylor
Yeah.
Swift goes through. Okay, you know, think about that.
Yeah.
America loves to destroy their pop icons.
I,
So they just, you know.
you know what? I try to hate Taylor Swift because I love her.
She's unkillable.
But she's
No,
you
she
gotta
rises
love
back.
her.
She rises back from the dead. Anyway, we're not here to talk about.
No,
Taylor
no, no. I
Swift.
mean,
It's
I
okay.
kind of want to talk about it because
Okay, yeah.
she's such a powerful woman.
It's
Like the way, like she has her voice. It's like she has things to say through her music.
yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, and I think that I think we should be adding some value to the audience here. And you know, Taylor Swift is a pretty broad study, but what I've been watching since she's been famous since she was 15. And if you really think about who was famous in that time period, like you know, like the Disney stars, the other pop stars, not a whole lot have made it as successful or as long term. And I believe the reason for that is Taylor Swift's ability to songwrite. And she actually
Yeah.
doesn't need ghostwriters. She doesn't need other producers. She's writing all these songs. She's performing all these songs. Is she the most amazing, spectacular, virtuoso piano guitar player? We don't need that. It's 2024. We like to be entertained. She knows how to do it. They say that if Taylor Swift, and who says this? I said this. If Taylor Swift gets you through a breakup, she owns you for life. And Taylor Swift has helped me through like 4.5 breakups. So like, what is, you know? Am I paying $1,000 to see Taylor Swift? No, but I will draw this scenario out for anybody because she does have a lot of haters, and I think that she's able to sustain herself because she is that kind of all-in-one machine. And I think that artists these days really have to be thinking about this on like how they can wear all of those hats that require being an artist. And Minji, you're really great at this as well, of kind of having the business side, the planning side, logistics, and then also having the artist and the artistry side. If you talk to a lot of professional artists, a lot of times they say they get caught up in all like the minutia around everything that comes with running a business, and they don't have time to make the art. So that's kind of what I think about is being that all-in-one stop for yourself and your brand.
Yeah, I mean Taylor Swift is definitely a great example of like really making her brand, making herself as a brand, and I think that's what we are trying to do too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's strange because it's not like it's a little bit of a different game because we're not coming necessarily as ourselves. Like we both have these alter personas for channeling sake.
Oh, because organic decline is that for you?
That's for me, yeah. I mean, I started Organic Decline kind of as like a text-based platform, and then during COVID, I kind of turned it into like this art project, just somewhere where you can put all your ideas without like the judgment, kind of.
I actually did not know that Organic Decline was text-based.
Oh yes, yeah. It was like
mine too. Text in the City.
Text in the City. Yes.
But yes.
Yeah. And it was like interesting to see like the progression of it. So when I think about what other artists are doing in our respective niches, it's that balance of how do we turn this into something business-tizable, monetizable, or are we doing this just for like the the enjoyment of it, like the practicality of it?
So you're kind of in the journey of monetizing your work and making it into a solid brand. And how was that journey like?
It's been very interesting. We're still very new on the journey. I mean, Minji produced the fashion show last year for Destroy Fast Fashion for New York Fashion Week. February.
Oh, that was a good time.
That was a good time.
We gotta talk about it.
Yeah, and that only happened last year, Minji.
That was last year?
That was last year.
Last year, February.
Last year, February. And that was kind of like I would say the launch of Organic Decline as the business, not just as like, an alter ego. And because what happened is like during COVID, I wanted to teach myself how to paint, and I'd never really painted before, but you couldn't find art supplies.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys remember, it was like March 2020, June, July. And, Amazon was sold out, like Joann's was like, 2 weeks. Target was all sold out, and also there was like bigger things happening in the world than me.
So they were all buying art supplies?
Yeah, because everybody's kids were out of school, so they were like, "Oh my god, how do I keep my kid entertained, not just during school hours, but like all the time, while the world's falling apart?" So I went to Target because I was in Harlem at the time, and I had a Target by me, bless Target, and it was completely empty. completely empty.
I did not know about this. I didn't paint then.
Oh yeah.
So back then I was just,
Painting became kind of like a stress response for me because I just, I was working in fashion at the time on the product development and retail side, and that was just about to go like down. We just like didn't know what was going to happen to it. Like, are people ever going to, buy clothes again? Like, why would we? Going back to my original statement of like why we keep buying clothes.
Yeah.
So I just started painting. I mean, what did I have a lot of? I had a lot of clothes. So I figured I'm probably not never going to be wearing a suit, but I'm not going to be wearing a suit for a very long time. So I took some of my Macy's samples and I just started painting on them. I did some temporary tattoos. I tried to even like collage on my suits. That obviously didn't work.
You tried to collage on your suit?
Yeah, I tried to.
That's actually cool.
I tried to like seal it and I tried to like make it.
Did you sew it?
No, I tried to like super glue it and then seal it. Anyway, yeah, I tried to like.
Okay, yeah.
Or I eventually ended up like transferring the ink of the paper to the garments. That worked, but it was just like this kind of trial run. I feel like as an artist, or at least the way I do it, is a little bit part like mad scientist. So
it's definitely mad scientist vibe.
Yeah.
But yes.
Mad. Emphasis on mad.
But I did not know that when you started with the jacket back then too.
Yeah, it was the first thing that I painted.
That's so cool.
It was a silver like tuxedo jacket that I was doing pastels on. I didn't have paint. I had oil pastels. So somebody
Luckily,
though. The girl I was dating at the time, her sister was an art teacher, and she kind of gave me some pastels, and it was like the only art supplies that I had because you couldn't buy any of them, other than like crayons, But I started doing that. I went live on Instagram doing it, and then I did the tattoos, and then now I'm designing my clothes.
Back to number 101.
It's like really full circle.
That's
too.
like your intuition was like, I just want to paint on clothes. And then you are doing it even more now and you're making it into a business.
Yeah, yes. And so we were kind of going through the whole history of this. So, Minji produced the show for fast fashion.
Right.
We did the performance, all that. And then we did the Shoshama Gala for the first time last year.
So going back to the first show that we did last year, February, that was for New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
And it was a really cool time at the Frost Gallery.
Yeah, 17 Frost Gallery. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. R.I.P. The gallery's closed now. And then we invited other artists who make art on clothing.
Yes.
And it was like a group exhibit, and there was a performance aspect where it was not like a runway.
Yeah.
But it was like a very interactive runway.
We're trying to like pioneer a different way, because I feel like the problem, and I like runway shows, and working in fashion, you kind of have to be familiar with that. But I feel like it was always so removed. Like you see the clothes walk by once and then twice, and then you kind of like don't see it again.
Yeah.
So for this show, we had all the garments already on the wall, hanging as art because it is wearable art. So we had canvases, we had the blazers. You had a bunch of your jackets and a bunch of your tote bags there, and we had a song that was about 8 minutes long.
You made the song.
Yeah, I made the song.
He's an awesome musician.
Yeah, I couldn't really find a song that really spoke to me of like what I wanted to do. Plus, songs are only like 4 minutes. So I was like, oh, why don't I just like make a song?
I can't even remember the melody. Da 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 dun dun da 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 dun, right?
Yeah. There's a couple different sections. Anyway, we'll play it on the credits or something. So we had the song, and it had 4 kind of different feelings of like this kind of growth and just kind of coming up from the ashes, and then kind of like the organic decline, the decay of it, into like a new kind of order of it. And the models would just kind of go around picking clothes off the wall, picking the hats, picking the jackets, trying them on, interacting with the audience.
Okay, I'll be really honest.
Okay.
I was one of the models, and I was not having a good time.
Oh, you're not having a good time?
I was not having a good time.
Stressful, right?
It was so stressful because I think I was really stressed that day. It was a good time, but I was so stressed.
We planned the whole event, Minji. Of course you were stressed.
And then when
the models had a great time. The models said
they were having the best time.
And then, Minji, what happened after the show? What did you do after the performance? Is that why you were stressed?
No, like that's my stress relief.
Okay,
That's
okay.
my shopping,
Minji planned a show of her own, an unexpected,
So-
with a costume change.
Oh my god!
We don't have
So
to go into all of it. You don't want to on
at
camera.
the Frost Gallery, there's like a little screening room, and it's like a darker and more intimate. And I started like, did I strip? Did I strip or
This is.
I don't remember
I'm
exactly.
gonna let you divulge whatever details
I
This is your show.
I
I'm not.
I
I can tell you what I walked into. I can tell you when I discovered that what was happening and what you were doing, but
yeah, describe it to me.
maybe that's on episode 10 or something. Maybe that's like because it's pretty juicy actually. I don't know if we should. I feel like
Wait,
it's like
what do you mean it's juicy? I mean, like when I'm like happy, I strip.
okay. So Minji packed these knee-high red patent leather stiletto boots. Really really hot stuff. And brought a bunch of clothes, and the show is over. It's like 11 o'clock, and drinks are flowing. We're going through the sponsored by MC. Shout out to
MC.
And I just walk in, and Minji is just like having a grand old time, and like the shoes, the outfit, and I
And you gave me money.
yes,
you
nobody else was giving you money, and I
You
felt bad.
tipped me. I
So I
really
was like-
appreciated that.
Everyone else was like, what's going on? Like they were like, is this fashion? Is this what fashion shows are like? I mean, if you're Schiaparelli, yes, but
Oh man, wild days. It was only last year.
that was only last year. So I feel like you've been away for a little bit. I've been in my cocoon, kind of like fostering. So we have yet to really like do a whole thing, make a piece or do a performance together.
It's been a while. So and then we went to Chishama Gala last year, and then we are doing it again this year.
Yeah, we're doing it again this year.
So what is Chishama Gala?
So Shoshama is an organization in New York that turns unused office spaces, retail spaces, property in New York is very difficult to acquire, as you know. So really any kind of space. And they turn it into a space for artists, whether that be a studio, a pop-up shop for them to do commerce, or just a gallery for one night. So they've acquired this huge space in Midtown off 42nd Street by Grand Central. And it's about, I don't know, like
It's
100 different little offices.
We were just there actually. So there will be about over 150 performance art teams. And then it's like a very immersive and interactive art form.
Yeah.
And it's happening on June 20th.
Yes.
And we will be painting on the people's clothes when they come in with their own like outfit. We'll turn that into art.
Yeah, last year we just literally painted on people's dresses, people's tuxedos.
It was
They
beautiful.
were like, it was like this.
It was a very beautiful moment. There was like some ladies like with like very expensive clothes because there are like the patrons of art, like they got money, and then they had these like they were so willing to get their fancy clothes painted by us.
It's like
They're like, I want
a
artists
novelty,
to touch.
Because and you hear about this with we hear about this with quiet luxury and like people that the really expensive taste that they don't want to be like flashy. There's a certain element of like they don't want the everyday brands that the public has.
It's very unique to have art as clothing, and that's how we want to destroy fast fashion, right? Like we don't want people to like just like buy this blazer and like throw it away in 2 years. We want these art pieces to be cherished for a longer time.
Yes, and part of the challenge and being an artist and designer is figuring out how to make something that transcends your own life. And I think that canvases, physical garments, I think is the way to outlive your legacy.
Yeah. I mean, like, how has it been for you to like? Was there? I mean, you're not like born like this,
Baby, I was born this way.
You were
I
there
do-
were
I do think about
transitions
that.
of it.
Yeah, so I think there are more full circle moments than I really realized here. Before the last couple of years. So when I was a kid, I was definitely very supported by my parents in being creative and being kind of very curious and wondrous. They were really great about never stopping that. So I did Boy Scouts, I did band, I did drama as a kid, Red Cross. So I kind of had a mixture of exposures, but the really early influence for me was Star Wars. Little movie franchise with Star Wars.
I'm sorry, why is this funny?
I was just obsessed. I with the choreography, with the outfits.
If
with
you
the
have
lines.
that little lightning sword right now, it will fucking fit.
I only on Halloween do I carry around the lightsaber because it's
Yeah.
there's a time and place. But yeah, I feel like where I'm going with this is I used to actually try to make my own Star Wars costumes out of like my mom's clothes.
Oh.
So I would like raid her closet, and now that I'm thinking about it, that was like my first kind of action as a designer.
Wait, your mom never questioned your sexuality?
Well, my mom, like I said, I have really amazing parents. My mom
Yes.
is a marriage and family counselor, and she works with all kinds of demographics. So she like I said, they were never like, oh, you can never do this, you never. And I was dressing up as a Jedi. I wasn't
Not like a
wearing
Leia
dresses.
princess.
No, yeah, no. I was always dressing up as Obi-Wan. He was the Padawan in episode 1.
Okay, but
So-
how many times were you mistaken as gay?
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that did happen, yes. And like middle school, high school, a lot of girls were like, "Oh, I just thought you were gay." I'm like, I can see why you would think that, but I'm very much into women. Yeah.
It's just that like because you're so fashionable and people think that very fashionable men would be gay.
Yeah, it is kind of an unfortunate
Yeah.
labeling, but I feel like we can try to evolve. We can try to move past that. We've had certain terms, and now these terms are like 10 to 15 years old. I won't reinforce them on camera, but there's certain words for, when men are like, when they cut their nails and they take a shower and they have good hygiene. All of a sudden you're
That's like a normal person thing.
that's a normal person thing, but
That's not gay.
yeah, but you would be surprised. So, and what I found out is that like, a lot of gay guys they don't want to say it. Like they want to look, they want to dress straight. They want to, wear like
They want to be dirty, like a straight man.
they want to be dirty like a straight man. No, they don't want to look inherently because it's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in certain parts of this country, or this can even happen to New York. I've had friends in New York that have been attacked for being outwardly femme. So
Yes.
yeah. So that's a different thing. But the camouflage part of it is, and the different masks that you wear, not just as a person and like as an artist, but just in everyday life. So yeah, a lot of people thought that I was just not into women just because I wore suits and shirts with collars.
how-
I wasn't wearing like pink or purple or girl, gender assigned colors. Or anything. That was just like the overall kind of.
I'm thinking, have you ever worn pink?
No, I don't really like to wear. I paint with a lot of pink, but
You do paint a lot of pink.
I keep
Yes,
I
know.
keep one pink shirt in my closet for breast cancer awareness month.
Just like one day.
Yeah, because there's always like in the
Yeah.
office or like at school, there's always like a wear pink day, and I truly now I do because I paint wearing pink, so I have my clothes. I have different sides of my persona than just black and gold, but my colorful side, or as Minji calls it, colorful Samir, lots of pink, but I don't actually own any pink.
Yeah.
shirts, no.
I was gonna ask you about how it is like to be heterosexual man to be in the fashion industry.
Well, it's just like I've been thinking about this as well because when I worked in the office at Macy's, I was the only guy. It was me and 40 women, which sounds great, right?
No, it
But
sounds terrible.
The story, I mean, as a guy, that sounds great, but
Oh.
the stories that I heard. Also, I was in a long-term relationship, so I wasn't like but I heard everybody's dating stories, so.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, so I think recently I've been, I think with my style changing and my kind of like energy shifting, and whether this be through some kind of journey that I'm on or some kind of like kick that I'm on, kind of like floating above the idea of gender is more than just like an idea or just like as a construct, and also like who you're attracted to as well, because there are some people that, especially in New York, you'll be walking down and you're kind of intrigued because you can't exactly like kind of figure like, is this a man or is it a woman? And and I've dated I've dated people that really enjoy kind of like the gender fluidness of it, and that kind of opened my eyes to like being not just like, okay, you're like masculine this time and like you're more feminine, or you're like on the spectrum. It's like you kind of wake up and you're like, oh, I want to wear like a, I want to wear my skirt kind of cape today, or like, like a more flowy dress. I've decided to not really. I want to keep it pretty masculine, just for insecurity's sake. So that's just the choice that I've done. But later in my life, I will probably become more open to just bending all those rules. So working in fashion, there's not a whole lot of like straight guys in fashion, and there's probably a reason for that. Probably, I don't really know what that reason is, but I just I'm enjoying like the ambiguity that this new era is ushering in. I think with, we have two new generations on the rise that both have realized that gender is like what? Why are you making me like, why do we have to really feel a certain type of, like, why can't we just identify with how we're actually embodying instead of what we should be embodying?
No, like that's a very good example of secure masculinity. Like you don't get insecure about, like, you are actually a true man for wearing a skirt.
See?
How great is that? Everyone wants to fuck hairstyles.
Everyone wants to fuck hairstyles.
Oh my god, I want to love.
And also, if we want to go back through history, the kings and the dukes, they were wearing heels, they were wearing capes, they were wearing all these things. Makeup was not just for women. Until like the 1700s, men were all wearing these powdered wigs. So like I said,
yeah, Mozart is gay as hell.
But like I said, like it's all like this. It's whatever time you're living in. So at this time, we're having to be like, okay, I identify as this and this, and I'm this, and I'm in this box, and check this and check that. But I feel like it's slowly dissolving, and there will be certain biological consequences that we can't get away from, and we shouldn't get away from. But I feel like as far as self-expression and identity goes, who gives a damn what you like? Why does it actually matter? You can have the medical cost conversation if you want, but I think that there is a big stopping on people expressing themselves, whether this be through marriage equality or transgenderism rights. It's all happening right now. We're kind of like in this second movement, and that's and I am a political artist. I started becoming an artist during COVID and during George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, that whole era. That's when I, stepped into it. So that's kind of all I know. I'm not all about painting the sunshine and, a landscape or like Bob Ross. Initially, if you look through my earlier work, it's pretty kind of disturbing stuff, because that's kind of like what I was questioning during 2020 and 2021. And now I've tried to distance myself a little bit from that and the politicalness of it, not because there's not lots to scream about, because there's plenty to scream about right now, what's happening in the world. But I'm very obsessed with how people pay attention to you as an artist and as a brand. So if you're kind of saying the same rhetoric and delivering the same message in the same format that everybody's used to, you're going to get drowned out. This is a very loud world we live in. Whatever side of whatever divide you're on, if you attack it directly from that angle, it's not going to be as effective. But as an artist, you get to deliver an uncomfortable message in a pretty package. You get to Trojan horse this shit, So right now, there's not something that we're all collectively up in arms about, where we can all like really agree, like, let's stop this kind of thing. I thought that we were on that train, but apparently there are more sides to all these stories that we're not going to get into on this podcast. But it's impossible to talk about the start of me and Organic Decline without mentioning that
Destroy fast fashion.
Destroy fast fashion, yeah. And so I kind of put that anger and that frustration into and channel that into the fashion part, which is what I really am passionate about there.
Yeah, that's the part that's the part that inspires me the most about you. Like how you're so like Destroy fast fashion is such a intuitive and also very straightforward message. It's very cool. I'm
trying to think of like a V2 of Destroy fast fashion. So because I've been getting feedback on what it means, and a lot of people really identify with it. But the activism, the people that are really doing the work in the field, like people at Remake and people that I meet, just like the park protesting and stuff, they have questions for me that I don't have the answers for yet. So I'm thinking about how, like I said, I don't want to bombard people with this negative, like the people that are making our clothes are living in these terrible conditions. So I'm thinking more about envisioning the end of fast fashion and what that looks like and how we get there. So we're kind of approaching in the goal. So if you check the Instagram bio right now on Organic Decline, it says in the end ... of fast fashion. I'll still write Destroy Fast Fashion. We're still Team Destroy Fast Fashion. We're still trying to save our species from, because it's not a matter of saving the planet. The planet will be here and be fine, but it's just humans that might, we're not guaranteed rights to this planet. It's far from us. It can easily be taken away from us. And the way that the path that we're on right now is not sustainable. I'm not going to say we had this many years or whatever, but it's simply not. We have to make some kind of change. And the change that I know how to approach, not necessarily from the greenhouse gases or the bigger industry questions, but fashion, because fashion is the number 2 polluter industry. In number 1 is oil, number 2 is fashion.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, But I really want to advocate for the people that are making the clothes. The woman, the brown woman that are making, and it's not just across the seas. I've talked to garment workers based in LA, that work sweatshops.
Yeah, like there was a crazy accident, I think, back in Bangladesh or something, like for about.
The Rana Plaza?
Yes.
Yeah, so the anniversary of that
was
actually...
a crazy time.
The anniversary is actually tomorrow of that. I'm going to... a Remake is another organization I work with. They're doing a Virgil remembrance of that tomorrow. So, it's been 10 years. Just for quick context, I don't know how much time we have, but...
Not a lot, but go on.
It was just a factory... It was not... Okay. It was a factory in Bangladesh that had structural and technical issues. And it was like a 10-story manufacturing plant for, like I said, not just like one brand, but all these brands use all the same factories. I learned this when I worked in fashion, in the department store side, that they're all making the same clothes for all the brands. So it collapsed, and many hundreds of people died.
They were working in such a dire situation.
Yeah.
And then the building where people cram in those ladies in a small spaces. And then the building collapsed, and just a whole lot of people were just not able to escape, and they just died.
Yes, yeah. So not to get all doom and gloom, but like things like that happens, and we here in our privilege in the Western world, it doesn't, we're still going to continue buying the clothes, and we're still going to continue on. So that's all I'll say about that. But that's why I started Organic Decline. That's how I kind of got to this point. It just became a healthier, more productive channel for kind of my outrage for some of the things that happen around the world.
Yeah, it's so coincidental that we're discussing this the day
the
before
anniversary.
The anniversary. We talked a lot about many things.
So many things.
From Taylor Swift to Llama Plaza.
To Rana Plaza, yeah. To being just fluid in your intentions and your identity. So I think I'll end on that note of like, the world is changing quicker than ever before. We won't even get into the technology, artificial part of that, but just even as like, our collective consciousness of what's happening all around us is slowly evolving. So don't be afraid to express on the way, and also express in the way that you feel the most comfortable in being safe, because that's a really big thing about identity, is that you can feel a certain type of way on the inside, but how you project on the outside it can either be your mask, your armor, or your kryptonite. So show up as much as you can as yourself, as in the spaces that you can, and something that I've been trying to do in 2024 is just reduce or eliminate the spaces that I don't feel like I can come as
someone else,
as myself to those to those spaces.
Yeah, I think that was the hard thing to do in Korea, honestly.
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Fitting in society.
fitting in. Don't dim yourself to fit in.
Or just like figure out how to shine, you know? Like I feel like so many like there are so many people that are going to celebrate when they see that you are shining. And somebody wise, the Juice told me this. Somebody very wise, art collector. He said people can tell when you love yourself,
Wow.
and they pick up on that instantly. So and you can't fake that. You can't fake that shit. If you don't love yourself, the people that can pick up on it will know, and that's just going to be that barrier to unlocking your what's actually happening inside you.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect note to end the podcast. And thank you so much for coming out to this podcast, Samir.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you guys for listening as well.
Thanks for listening, and I think this was a great first episode, and we'll check in back next week for another episode.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.